welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to bring you along with me as I clean up my house and organize. This is kind of split up into a couple of days just because since I do have a newborn baby, things take me a little bit longer to get to. So I really, I'm trying to get my house back in order after having a baby. Some days it's easier said than done. My kids are little tornadoes and they do make quite a big mess. But there's also a lot of areas in my house that really need to be organized, and my laundry room and pantry is one of them. I actually plan on doing a big kind of like pantry overhaul. I want to get it more organized, more streamlined. So that's a video later to come. But today I just really kind of want to get it looking nicer and just more clean. So that's what we have on the agenda today. So let's go get that done. All right, it's another day and another mess to clean. So I'm really just trying to get back on a better schedule of things. Since I've had my baby, I actually, have a ton more energy back, and I feel more motivated to do things. Just during this last pregnancy of mine, I honestly felt like I was 9 months pregnant the whole entire pregnancy. I don't know why, but I just think it's really just because it's my 5th baby, and being pregnant is really hard. And it's actually funny, I read something the other day that actually being pregnant and growing a human and giving birth is equal to doing the Tour de France, which, if anybody knows what that is, that's like a super hard, like very long, I think, bicycle race. And it takes the human, just a woman's body, so much to even grow a human. Being pregnant, 9 months, giving birth, and then recovery is so much that this man said it should be, more important and bigger than, somebody winning the Super Bowl, which I fully agree with. We women, we go just through so much just being pregnant. So honestly, this pregnancy of mine, this last one, it felt like a lot. Sadly, I don't think I probably enjoyed it as much as what I have my other pregnancies in the past. Like I said, I felt like I was 9 months pregnant. So I actually have a lot more energy now, postpartum. I'm getting really back in the routine. Even though I'm up through the night nursing a baby, I feel like I'm sleeping better. So hallelujah for that. I just feel so much better. So I feel like I'm able to keep my house, clean a little bit better, still getting, better at that stuff. But this kitchen of mine was a disaster. I'm so embarrassed to show you this. Honestly, this was just how behind I've kind of gotten here lately. And we just literally had a mountain of dishes. And it's always just like so frustrating every single morning, sometimes when you wake up to a dirty kitchen. So here recently, I've kind of made a vow to myself to make sure I do my dishes before I go to bed every night. Make sure my kitchen is clean. It's just so nice to be able to wake up to a clean kitchen, and it just really helps you start your day right and get it going better. So I've done that a lot better here recently, but here was my mountain of dishes that I had to get done. And one thing I've also been doing lately is listening to audiobooks. So my husband and I have always had an Audible account because I personally am a big reader and I love to read. But obviously, since having younger children, especially my newborn and plus my last son, I have a harder time actually being able to sit down and read a book. And my husband, I got him into audiobooks because he always had such a long drive to go to work. And I thought listening to an audiobook would be more interesting because it's something my dad always did when he went on trips, because he always had to go on business trips, and a lot of times he had to drive to places. And I remember one summer, me and my mom went with him, and I remember we listened to a lot of audiobooks, and it always helps your time go by so much quicker. Anyways, so because of that, I got my husband audiobooks. I would pick some up at the library, but then it just spiraled into us having this Audible account. Anyways, I don't know if that's super important to where I'm getting at. Anyways, we have an Audible account, and here recently I've taken to listening to more as I clean, and I actually noticed it helps my time go by faster. And this one I just got, it's written by Prince Harry. He also narrates it, and that's actually the main reason why I decided to get this one, is because some people who narrate books aren't always the best, but he narrates it very good. It's called Spare, and it is about his life growing up, and boy, do I gotta tell you, it is so interesting to hear his take on his side of the story, obviously, but it is also heartbreaking. Honestly, within the first 6 to 10 minutes of this book, I was almost in tears. It made me so emotional because he was so young when he lost his mother. It's just, it is so heartbreaking, but I feel like it's so good to finally hear his perspective on it, because so much of the time, I think everyone else thinks they know what this poor boy felt, when really nobody really knows unless you go through it yourself. So I really do recommend this book if it's kind of something you guys might think you're interested in. It's really good to hear, and I love listening to it while I clean. Anyways, on another side note, as you see here, I got all my dishes loaded in the dishwasher, but obviously I still have a mountain here to do, and this is something that is a big pet peeve of mine that sadly my husband does. Love you. But is that whenever he does the dishes for me, he'll never actually go through and hand wash the bigger items that sometimes don't always fit. I won't always hand wash all dishes. If there's extra like cups, forks, maybe a couple of plates, I won't always hand wash those. But I will always go through and hand wash big bowls, pots and pans, things that normally are actually too big to fit inside my dishwasher. I'll always make sure I go through and hand wash those, because I just do not like having just a huge pile of dishes. It's always daunting. So I'm like, I'm in here, I'm already washing them, I'm going to hand wash them. And I always like having my sink also cleaned. So like I'll scrub down my sink. And also, this is another big pet peeve. Tell me if I'm not the only one. And it doesn't matter what house I've lived at. Every single time my sink gets used, water will always end up going up behind the sink. And depending on where my sink has been placed in different houses, it gets so disgusting behind my sink. It's just like the water gets stagnant there because nobody's wiping it down unless it's me. And it just gets gross and nasty. And that's just, I love the sink cleaned, and I love behind the sink wiped down. So this drawer of mine actually houses a lot of my kids' cups and kids' plates, but I put my toaster in there because another kind of pet peeve of mine that I never really liked in all of my other homes was always having my toaster out on the counter. I don't know why it kind of bugged me, but honestly, in my mind, I thought, well, you know, we use it daily, so it kind of has to be out. But my mom always kept hers down in her cabinet because she obviously didn't use it that often, but for some reason I just thought that was a really good idea, because I just don't like clutter. I don't like a whole lot of things, you know, taking up space on my countertops. Even, you know, I think when I had more counter space at other homes I've had, I still didn't like it. I just like a nice, clean, kind of clutter-free appearance. So I actually really like putting it in that drawer, but I do every once in a while. Hey, buddy. Every once in a while, I do have to get in there and, you know, clean out all of those crumbs that accumulate in that drawer. So one thing I wish I would have done probably more in my other houses was clean my cabinets more. I don't know why I've never really thought about cleaning my cabinets a whole lot. To me, it's kind of something that I don't know, it gets really overlooked. And it wasn't until watching another YouTuber that I was watching her do some cleaning videos, and she kind of on a regular basis cleans her cabinets, and I think I just need to do that more often myself, because they actually do get really dirty. But one thing I do actually clean quite a bit is always my fridge, because man, do fingerprints get on there, and the door handles get so sticky from my kids that I do not like touching a sticky door handle. It's just so gross. So what is your kind of weather at currently where you guys are at? Comment down below and tell me, because where I'm at in Idaho, obviously it's still very much winter, very cold. We still have actually quite a bit of snow on the ground, but it is slowly starting to melt. Now, typically January is always like super inversions, like you hardly see the sun, I swear. You know, just very overcasty, can be very foggy. And you can honestly just go days without seeing the sun. Here recently, we've had 2 wonderful sunny days, and it was so nice to get out and take a walk. The sun felt so good. It was so warm, and it just actually was very refreshing. It was the first couple walks I've had since postpartum having baby, I'm now, 6 weeks out, and it's felt really good just to kind of go for that walk and get out. It is slowly starting to melt some of the snow. And in fact, actually, I've discovered we have a sump pump, and I guess we're pretty lucky to have it. And I think we have it because of when the snow melts off and where the drainage goes underneath our house, there tends to be water pooling. And it was in the middle of the night and I heard it go on, and oh my gosh, it scared me. I was like sitting up in bed wondering what it was, and it sounded like my washer machine, but I knew my washer wasn't on. But anyways, I'm glad to discover what it is, and you can often hear it throughout the day and throughout the night. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and turn on some tunes, and maybe we can speed up cleaning up this kitchen a bit and move on to the next things that need to be cleaned in my house. A lot of times I think the messiest places in my house are always my kitchen and my dining room. And that is just always because that's just where we are most of the time. Bedrooms usually stay pretty clean. Bathrooms pretty much do as well. But it's really your main living area that's always the worst. And for me, it's definitely my kitchen and my dining room, especially because since I homeschool my kids, and our kitchen table, that's also our classroom. So every single day I am going through there probably at least twice, sometimes even 3 times, sweeping up the crumbs, just things that fall on the floor. And honestly, about twice a day, I have to wipe down my chairs because they get, again, so sticky. And that is honestly from my youngest, well, I guess not my youngest anymore, but my toddler. He always just, when he sits up there and eats, he loves just to rub his hands all over the chairs. So this is definitely an area that needs a lot of tender, loving care pretty often.
Every day I see miserable people doing things they hate just to fit in. I know it's easier to get along peacefully, but have you ever thought about you? Don't know why I keep on doing what I'm told to do, when the rules are made up by someone we never knew. Baby, wipe your tears and hear me out. We don't need someone to feel alright. Let's do the streets on Monday. Let's call your exes and tell them they can join us too. Why always worry about money when you can get rich by trying to see the outside?
So this was also a school day for us, so trying to kind of clean and organize and juggle in between schoolwork with my kids and tidying up. Today, I always try to keep our schoolwork short, because that's kind of, the blessing of being homeschooled, is that you don't have to spend all day sitting down doing schoolwork. So I try to always evenly divide up what areas of schoolwork we will be doing. Today We specifically did Bible study and lots of reading. Oh, the dreaded laundry room. This, for some reason, got really disastrous. And to be honest, I can't tell you why. Well, I mean, I can tell you why. I have 5 children. And it got out of hand really quickly. Since obviously it is very snowy out right now, my kids do love to go outside and play in the snow. So it's this constant kind of battle of trying to figure out where they need to put their snow gear when they come in. And it definitely doesn't help, you know, when they just leave it on the floor in the laundry room. And as you can see me just throwing that out into my garage, our dog bed, because we do bring our dog in at night to sleep inside the laundry room just because she is quite old and she doesn't have a lot of fur. Like, you know, she's more of a short-haired dog, and so she gets cold very easily. So we, you know, bring her in at night just to keep her nice and warm so she doesn't get too cold out in the garage. But this was just a place that really needs to be cleaned. The baby woke up, so this is definitely baby wearing, which is such a huge help. Very much like a hybrid wrap, and it's still more of a structured carrier, but much softer material, and it just works really great. Did you just catch me there smelling my laundry? Oh my gosh, I could not tell if it smelled bad or not. Obviously, I decided it did. That's probably one of my biggest pet peeves, is when you just let your laundry go too long and it ends up smelling and stinking, and then you have to rewash it. And so that was the case here with me. It was either that, or I think my son forgot to put laundry soap in there, because that's kind of one of my kids' chores. In the mornings, they will help by switching laundry and putting a new load in for me. So this very well, he could have honestly forgotten to put laundry soap in there. Anyways, this wrap, I love it. You know what? I'll actually try to link it down below, because I did just get it off of Amazon when I had my last son. And it came in so handy. I used it so much with him, and you can honestly use this till they're honestly quite old. I mean, I used it for my last son till he was probably till he was walking, honestly. Because once he got walking, then he didn't want to be in it anymore. But this wrap is really nice. I did end up buying one of those ring sling carriers, because I saw so many ads for it. I was hooked, line, and sinkered with these ads that I would see all over the place about these ring slings and how they were so great for carrying newborns and how it was so much easier. And I thought, wow, this looks great. This looks great for newborn stage, because then when they're so tiny, I could definitely wear them and get so much more done. Man, I still cannot figure this thing out. I don't understand how it works. I've watched so many YouTube videos on how to make it work, how to try to properly use it, and I don't have it figured out. And so I have still yet to use it. I've tried so many times, but it feels so unsafe and so unsturdy. So if anybody has any tips or tricks on how to make it work, or if it's actually better for older babies, I don't know. But drop me a comment down below if you do. to cleaning up the bedroom, which, you know, gets messy pretty frequently, just, you know, from clothes getting thrown on the bed and, you know, just like every other room in my house, it gets pretty messy. But, you know, it does always feel good to make sure my master bedroom is nice and tidy. I do find I sleep better. I do feel less stressed when my room isn't such a mess. And since a lot of times I do kind of come into my bedroom early on in the evenings to nurse the baby and kind of wind him down, it is a lot more peaceful when my room is just nice and clean. So okay, you guys can see this is really like the skeletons in my closet. This is like, I guess what people call their Monica closet. This is kind of mine because this is like really the dumping ground. I guess I say that about everything. Everything in my house is the dumping ground, but this is so chaotic and just unorganized, and it's really just driving me crazy the way everything gets really thrown about in here. And there's more that way, but I kind of just, for the sake of time today, I just want to organize a section of this, and that's, I think, what I'm going to do for now, is just trying to organize it section by section until I really have a plan of how I want to make this more streamlined. So, like I kind of said earlier, I am going to want to like really organize and completely redo all of this, get different containers. I'm like Pinteresting a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna like enlist my mom's help because she's super smart in the way that she can envision things, and I can't really envision something. I kind of have to see something to know what it's going to be like, but that's where Pinterest really comes in handy. So for right now, I just kind of want to focus on this because, as you can see, I got like my mop and my vacuum. Down here, I just have like a ton of stuff on the floor. So while my baby's napping, I'm going to try to get as much of this done as I can. And this drives me crazy. I love my aprons, but these hooks are just like in the way, so they don't really benefit me getting everything done. So let's just get in here and try to start cleaning up. is what we're gonna have to call good for now because my baby is now waking up. So obviously kind of ignore the upper part of the shelves where that is. But I did go ahead and I got a lot of like the clutter off the floor. I gathered some garbage and just kind of reorganized a bunch of my cans and everything. So at least now it doesn't look so chaotic in here. Like I said, I'm going to be doing more later, but this is as good as what's going to get right now. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed watching this video. Thank you so much for coming along with me. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Just you guys hanging out with me and coming along with me on these videos. It lets me know that you guys actually enjoy watching me and you don't think I'm too boring. So comment down below. Always check the community tab on my page because I do, or I am starting to kind of like post polls on there, trying to figure out what you guys want to see more. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.